Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of
The Loud Ones Podcast.
I am your host, Nas Ig.
And I am your lovely host. I'm stealing your shit, Dany B.
Yes. Okay. So guys, we're gonna start off on a high note because that's what he would want us to do today. Okay.
Y'all ready? Are y'all ready? Y'all gotta get in the mood, okay?
Okay. We got DJ Danybonaduce.
DJ Danybonaduce on the ones and twos,
on the
all right?
ones and twos.
Y'all ready?
But shouts out to Pop Smoke. Rest in peace to Wu. And yeah, Dany, when you supposed to drop it? Jesus.
I want the money and shit. That's how you with the party.
Y'all.
This is my son. He was only 20 fucking years old and somebody fucking killed him. But you know what? Y'all ready? Bitch, I'm a thought. Give me lit.
Hey.
Get in my head.
Hey.
What is it? Bow, 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 bow. Oh, rest in peace to Pop Smoke. I'm so sad that he's gone, but he was a kindred spirit.
Listen, shouts out to that guy. I can't even say up and coming rapper. He came on the scene, killed that shit. Voice was unique, different. We've never heard somebody like that in hip hop.
He made me a thought.
He seemed real humble, but real hungry in these streets for what he wanted. Providing for his family, go-getter, and he wasn't to be fucked with. And unfortunately, that attracts a certain group of people to spirits like him who just do what the fuck they want to do and move how they want to do. So rest in peace to him, Young King, and yeah, we're gonna get the episode started on like that. So we wanted to do this episode to talk about a lot of things that have gone on, and I'm gonna stick to hip hop in the hip hop community over the last year.
We can even go further than last year because this shit is like an ongoing thing.
You know, if we go on, I'm gonna say the last 2 years, because if we go beyond that, it gets crazier and crazier and crazier, because I feel like the bodies pile up more every year, and every year it's a lot more and more. Rest in peace. And we're only in fucking February, the second month of the year. If y'all didn't know, that's the second calendar month of the year, and we've already hit this amount of loss. So Dany, we've seen. So growing up in hip hop, I have never in my life experienced this much hurt, hatred, jealousy, envy, just no respect for artists in hip hop like this in my life. And I'm a huge hip hop fan. Born in the 90s, listened to 80s, 90s, early 2000s, still listen to hip hop, still am a lover of hip hop, a big fan of hip hop. I have never seen it this crazy in the last couple of years, where we have bodies dropping like flies. The minute we get to know their name, we get to recognize their voice, they're gone.
And not even just bodies. It could be just
jail,
like Pop Smoke was chilling in a house. He wasn't even in his hood. Like, he was in LA. Like, what's up?
That's crazy. And, you know, I was telling Dany, I'm like, we've been on air now for some time, and we've been on air during some losses, whether jail or death. And I'm like, we haven't covered it the way that we should, because we need to shine a light on what the fuck is going on in hip hop. I think that right now, where we have such young talent coming out of New York City,
right?
Specifically New York City. Not saying we don't have talent going on, but right now, Brooklyn is out here.
And it seems like every time.
And every time, I've noticed that the last couple of summers, the young niggas from New York have been running summers. You know, just as soon as Bobby and Rowdy got popping, they went down.
Facts.
Hip Hop Police got everybody from GS9. And shouts out to Bobby and Rowdy there. They should be coming home this summer.
Yes.
But
I'm Bobby with that too. I used to call myself
the only person that I don't want to put any bad luck out there, but who owned the summer and hasn't been touched is Young M.A. She came straight out of Brooklyn with her hit, and she's still around. But just in the last 6 months, we've lost Pop Smoke, right? We lost Juice World, right? I know y'all gonna hate me for saying his name, but Tekashi's been going for a year, and I'm not gonna lie, he made IG entertaining at one point.
He did, and his music was solid.
And
I can't take that from him.
He independently brought a new sound to hip hop.
He did.
There was a cross between DMX and shit, I'm gonna forget, and Onyx.
Yep.
And that was a sound that he brought to hip hop. As a youth that we didn't have at the time. I'm not talking about lyricism. I'm just talking about sound here. And
just that fun feeling music. Like, you see, like Pop Smoke was bringing that too.
Yes.
He was bringing that fun feel music. The same type of music that 6ix9ine was bringing. And I can't even take from him that he's talented. He's talented.
Another talent that was murdered was XXXTentacion. Very, very talented man. I started getting into his music like a year before his passing. Yeah. And just the music that he's left behind, I still play it. Sad is one of my favorite songs. Very melodic, very, very intuitive kid. And murdered while going to purchase I think another automobile or something like that in Florida.
Just jealousy.
By random. Let's not skip over the late great Nipsey Hussle was murdered in front of the store
that he owns
on Slauson in Los Angeles by a former Crip member who recently was released from prison and apparently was in jail and testified and this is allegedly and was known as a snitch. And Nipsey allegedly told him, like, until you bring your papers, don't come around here. You know what I mean? And
that was a decision that he made. You decided to snitch. Why are you tight? There's somebody calling you out as a snitch.
Yes, and we lost Nip.
Yes, that broke me. That was really sad. I was crying. Like, I couldn't believe
that. That's something that still touches a lot of people. Because
he wanted to change a lot of things. And that's a crazy thing. Like, even Pop Smoke, he had an interview where he was talking and trying to uplift the community. And that's the thing. Like, okay, these people may have been in gangs or whatever the case may be, but are they still trying to live that same life? Aren't they trying to change? Like,
and I think what bothers me the most here is we grew up where we knew who came from poverty. We knew who came from a street life. We respected it lyrically. We respected the knowledge they were trying to push to the streets. We still listen to their stories about the times they were going through that in their music. But it was almost like it was in a secret. They were a part of some secret society where they weren't touched. Unless it was set up by someone super high up. And that's what happened with Biggie and Tupac. But if you had beef, it wasn't an on-site murder scene. It was, they fought it out. They had their differences. But just to see how, and a lot of time that's industry shit, right? Right. But now we have people from all walks of life just coming so close to these celebrities. And it's so sad because we have social media platforms, and a lot of these celebrities that do get touched is why. Nip was caught taking pictures with children on the scene, like 30 minutes before he was murdered. So pictures were already going viral that he was at his store. He was there without his bodyguard because he had said, hey, I'm going to check in. I'm only picking up clothes for my friend who just got out of jail, and I'm going to be right back. You don't need to travel with me. And in a split second, when someone found out that Nip, and I'm not even going to say that man's name, but his murderer, the person who murdered him, saw that he was there, approached him, came up to him one time, and tried to show love, and then Nip checked him, and then he came back with a weapon and murdered him.
That's my whole thing. It's like the more they're trying to be personable, like pick a fucking struggle, y'all.
And then it's
that's
like
the thing.
Then we get upset when
they don't want to be around.
Are apprehensive when being approached in public because
pick a struggle.
It's like they prefer their fans to interact with them online when it's safer because you don't know who's walking up on you. But
don't know who's hating on you either.
It's really sad and disappointing because I can't imagine being a a kid in junior high school falling in love with an artist and their music, and kids get so attached with these artists because they come from their same background. Right. They shared, like, I know XXXTentacion, when he died, it was such a huge impact to a specific type of kids because he was so different. He was so unique. Yes. And he didn't give a fuck about what he looked like, and he wanted other kids who looked like him or enjoy the style that he wore on stage to say, hey, it's okay. Right. And just to know, once you got that attachment, you found somebody that you can mirror yourself after or look up to in any way, be snatched right from you. I don't have a childhood where a lot of artists that I grew in love with through music have been killed from me like that. I have not, and that's all of the greats that I still fuck with are still around. And I don't know if it's maybe social media plays into that because I guess before you didn't have the access to see everything that a celebrity was doing and where they were at every given moment, and there was some kind of distance between celebrity and I guess consumer, and there's a lot of mystery because we didn't know. But now it's like the more that people know is the more that they want to touch you, and the more that they feel like, oh, you are touchable. Before, we felt like they were untouchable because we didn't have the access or the ways to see how they were living their lives in which they had. And not just touchable by us, but the feds have used social media as a means of way of finding out more about their lifestyles. Yeah. So we've also seen a lot. There's actually a group of NYPD cops called Hip Hop Police. I actually know a hip hop police officer. I met them at a gathering, and they were like, "No, I'm Hip Hop Police." And I'm like, you always hear about that crowd, like people, there's a certain group of NYPD officers that are aware of every hip hop event. They sometimes will shut it down because if they don't have, if they have somebody that they might have background on that is gang related, they're trying to minimize violence and stuff like that. There's a group of NYPD cops that target situations like that. And just to know that they use social media, your IG to come in contact with their daily activities and watching them, we find more artists nowadays are being targeted than ever. Yeah. When they took down GS9 and they took down Bobby and Rowdy, they targeted them. And it's not because Bobby and Rowdy was ahead of it. They felt they were face of GS9 because they repped it. Exactly. And not saying they committed the largest crimes, but it's because they're the face. And they say they want to make a point. That's the worst thing about like these charges that are being gathered up on people racketeering. Like, you cannot say that just because I'm in this gang, I did these crimes. That doesn't make any sense. Like, like I understand like there are things that gangs represent and stuff like that. But sometimes it's a sense of family because people do not have families. I'm not saying that I'm 100% for gangs, because there are things that, in certain gangs, there are crimes and things that are committed, killings and all kind of stuff that's going on in the community. But at the same time, sometimes it can be just a family. A lot of artists right now are going through pop, and I don't want to bring up anything negative, but pop was becoming a target to Hip Hop Police as well. And we saw that in the headlines, and that was just awful because it's like, wow, you know what I mean? Like, come on, don't, like, as soon as someone, I'm not gonna say me personally, but if I'm associated with a group of people and I make it out, and that's family, no matter what to me, right? A lot of gangs, those people become family because you rolled with them, they protected you for so long, or whatever, and they still rep them and they make money. Is it right to target you and say we're going to take you down too, just because that's where you come from? And I see that now happening a lot. That happened with Tekashi. Tekashi got a RICO case, and once the feds have any type of case against you, feds don't lose. So they had a RICO case, and that's the gang 9 Trey, and that's a blood gang, and they took down Tekashi and made him the face of 9 Trey. That's the same thing with and they tried to do that. Well, who are you gonna say? And that's what they're doing with Star. I understand, like, yes, Star. Okay. Of the cool. 5'9" Bloods. Okay, she could be the head or whatever, but she has changed. How are you going to gather up information on somebody who is said allegedly she's the godmother of the 5'9", which is fine. Bloods.
She could have been that before. What is she now? She's changed. Like, you're going to put somebody... I understand people have committed crimes.
Yeah.
But if you ain't get them, like, when they was doing the crime, if they trying to change, why would you try to put them in jail when they're changed people? That makes no sense.
So the story is... Allegedly, the story is that when she was already serving her time, the last bid that she did, the feds already had a RICO case they were building against this gang. Mm-hmm. And I think she at the time was already identified. I think the feds is what I've seen and what I've read that's out there so far is that they want to make sure that when they got you, they got you. So they built up not a case of just her, associates that she may have been seen with, and everybody. They're at a point where it's not like back in the day, you know how they caught like a few gang members? They're taking them out one time.
Yes.
So they can't take her down as being a godmother, expecting her to snitch, because she probably wouldn't. They want to capture everybody, because in a group of 100 gang members, there's probably 1 or 2 snitches that's going to corroborate a story that happened with all of them to tie them to some type of crime that's listed in the RICO. So she unfortunately, it's so unfortunate because she came out, got her shit together. She has a podcast as well.
Yeah, trying to change her life. Same thing with Tax Stone.
She came back. She did a lot of things in the street for giving back to kids in need, and she met someone, and she's pregnant. She's due any day now, and it's really sad that she, after giving birth, it was supposed to be turning herself in. And I can't imagine it as a mom, because you spend 9 months in envisioning yourself becoming that mom, and what you're going to spend your first year like, you know, how you're going to transition into motherhood, and you can't wait to change the diapers and feed and breastfeed or whatever it is. And just to know that that's something that she has on her body right now. Like,
right. That's on your mind. Like, that's probably the most taxing thing that you can think about, is like, damn, I'm about to leave my baby.
Let's talk about another person, since you said taxing. I know your favorite is Tax Stone.
I love me some Tax.
Why do you love him so much?
Because that's my Leo brother, and he's just so fucking real. I just love him. Like, before I even got into like podcasting, he was one of my first he was one of the first, I guess, podcasts that I had listened to. And I just love his vibe, because I just thought that he was so honest about his past. He was honest about who he is. And he was always living in his truth.
Do you think that he was always honest? I have something I want to share. And I don't want any Tax Stone fans to come for me. I'm not a hater of Tax.
I don't know what he lied about or whatever.
It's not that this is, okay. So when I first heard of Tax, and I'm not someone who followed him from Twitter, because he got big on Twitter and then transitioned into podcasting. So he used to say some wild shit on Twitter, and people would just, laugh at it, find it comical.
Right.
And that was his outlet. And then he transitioned to podcasting when he teamed up with Charlamagne, and Charlamagne helped him out with that. I loved his podcast. I fucked with it, and I thought he was really going to become big, and he was getting there.
He was there. He was getting there. So
the issue that I have with this, he got big off of one thing. I don't know if you know this, but the rapper Troy Ave, right? And this is what got him in the place that he is. He trolled him day in and day out. And this is, we're going to be honest about hip hop, violence in hip hop, jealousy and envy that comes along with being in the hip hop community. This is one thing I didn't like that Tax did, because I know that he candidly speaks about the regret, but not in the way that he needs to. He trolled him because they apparently were from the same hood, and he felt like Troy Ave was saying things in his records that he actually didn't do, because he's like, we from the same hood. I never knew you. I didn't hear of you. So you lying. So he was somebody, he had Brooklyn on his back. Tax Stone always talked about Brooklyn. He was that nigga, right? Troy Ave, allegedly, I'm going to say allegedly because he has his other cases going on. He moved a lot of weight, but he was not someone who was in the public eye doing it like some people like to make it apparent.
Well,
and it was proven that, and he's never had a problem proving everything that he has said that he's done. The beef got to the point where Troy I was like, this nigga always got my name in the mouth. Now it's a problem. Then it became a problem. Casanova was coming up in the game at the same time. Casanova and Tax has a relationship. So Casanova, by default, followed Tax's lead. Tax was somebody who's bigger than Cass at the time. And please, guys, from 2 Times, don't come for me. I'm just saying, I'm going to say allegedly because I don't want anybody to tell me anything, but this is from what I understood. And so the beef continued. So Troy, I guess to him, it started bothering him because he's independent, right? He's paying for every record, everything that he's doing. So for him to have someone who now has a large platform that kind of matches his platform, attack his platform and call him a fraud, that's why he started to respond the way he did. So now it blew up because now it became an on-site situation.
But when this is my question, when did Troy Ave ever prove that? Because there was niggas saying that Troy Ave, I don't know the full story because I don't divulge into that kind of shit. But when was this proven? Because even after, like, there was no shit where it proved that Troy Ave was moving all this weight and all this shit. Like, you understand? And that was Tax's main thing. It's like, okay, cool, you could be who you are, but don't be perpetrating. Like, don't perpetrate like you this nigga and you not.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's the truth. And then all in all, okay, didn't Troy Ave go on to snitch on Tax? Like,
he didn't snitch. He did not snitch. But what I will say is this.
Or say that because Tax Stone wasn't the person that I guess allegedly shot him.
So this is the thing. He's been shot at. He was driving, I believe, a red Maserati because I was in Brooklyn at the time when this happened, and I remember the whole scene was crazy. Mm-hmm. I forgot what holiday. I want to say it was like Thanksgiving or Christmas. It was one of those major holidays. I was in Brooklyn that time, and it was really different around the neighborhood that he got shot up. They shot his whole car up. It was in response. It was supposed to be on behalf of Tax Stone, allegedly. Obviously, I don't know if that happened before or after. I want to say that happened. I don't know if that happened before or after the Irving Plaza shooting. Mm-hmm. But in the video, you see that, if I'm not mistaken, Tax initiated it, and Troy responded. The gun that he shot in response to the shooting was not a gun that Troy had on him. It was a gun he picked up off the floor. So my thing is, I feel bad for Tax because he had such a promising career. However, I have to call it out what it is. You cannot participate in some shit that you probably, I'm not about to pick on nobody, and a lot of people get big off of other people's backs. Do you know what I mean? And we've seen that a lot of time. We've seen that with this other girl in hip hop who purposely comes for rappers and try to fuck up their happy home. Selena Powell, she gets shit off of people's back. But Tax, at one point, it was like, Tax, you have good content. You don't need to be trailing on this nigga.
I'm not gonna lie. Tax.
Why
Tax,
do you have? He was
trolling. He was trolling. He
was a troll. He was a troll who got popular, who people started fucking with.
But guess what? He stopped. He stopped towards it before the time.
You wanna know why it didn't really stop? There was a point where he had to become silenced because of his crimes and the shit that he was doing to come at Troy Ave. So want to know who started taking shots? Casanova. Casanova, when he was still growing on IG, because so Cass would put on, don't let, his thing is don't let it go over your head. He would start making these posts. And it was like underlying like little snippet shits, like little like sneak disses. And then not only that, they would target each other. And it became something like that. So people who would support Tax Stone now is still trolling Troy Ave, to the point Troy Ave, he couldn't get bookings. I remember at one point he talked about it. He couldn't get bookings in certain clubs anymore because they felt that there was going to be a lot of retaliation on behalf of support, people who support Tax Stone or whatever the case is. At one point he even turned off his comments. I think his comments, I don't know if they're still turned off.
Okay, if all it is, somebody ruined your career. Tax is away in jail.
This is before Tax even got to jail.
But listen. All of this. Where's Troy Ave now? Where's the music?
So hold on. There's a reason why. So now I can tell you're probably not close to the case like that, but basically what happened was, typically in cases like this where people use your music against you as a testimony in court, he was prohibited from making money from music. So Troy Ave always was a real estate investor behind the scenes. Once he started having legitimate money, he became a real estate investor. So he bought many properties before this even transpired this big. So if you see what he does now is because he's limited to music, because obviously, in hip hop, once they see you as a danger, you're not allowed to enter certain arenas, stadiums. You're not allowed to tour and things like that. It got harder for him because the case is still going on.
When he got off of like getting his leg or whatever, I watched the interview. He was basically dry fucking snitching. I'm not gonna front. Like, okay, I don't know much about.
What is a snitch though, Dany? If you participated in a crime and I said, me and you came with a plan and me and you said, Dany, we're going to be robbing a bank, and I get caught leaving the front and you don't in the back, and I get caught, now I'm snitching on you to get a better deal, I'm a snitch. For somebody who they were throwing how much years at him, taking away from his 2-year-old child because of a troll?
No, fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. If you live, Meek says it all the time. If you're in that industry, it's different for when you're a civilian. If you are fucking acting like a gangster, hold strong to the fucking gangster laws.
Okay, hold on.
If he popping all this shit, don't mean no.
Danny,
that's the same reason why it's 6'9". That's nuts. It's not nuts when you're not a civilian.
You want to know why it's nuts?
If it's me and you, it's one thing. But if you're in that realm, if Star goes and snitches on 5'9" Brim right now, she's wilding because if she was participating, you wasn't. You was down for it.
Star is Brim. What are you talking? Star Brim? What are you talking about?
I said if she goes and snitches on.
No, it's just different. This is why.
He's saying about he moving all this weight and shit. You don't act tough.
Let's use an example that you just said. Star Brim, last name Brim, comes from 5'9" Brim bloods.
Did you hear what I said though?
You said if she moves on in another lifestyle, she snitches. There was never, ever, ever, ever any association with those two men at any fucking point. You want to know? It got to the point where he trolled so much
but you're not hearing me.
Would raise it to him. They didn't do anything. There was no connectivity.
What I'm saying is, a snitch is a snitch.
He shot his best friend because he had a problem with this nigga's lyrics.
Listen,
how you gonna get mad at that?
You're not hearing me though. Like I said, Meek Mill said, he said, if you are in, listen, just hear me out. Hear me out. If you are acting like a gangster, abide by gangster fucking rules. Do not try to change it up when the rules are now in favor of somebody else.
Okay, can I ask you a question? When he was chilling in Irving Plaza, right? Hear me out. He chilling. This is what makes no sense. Say you and a friend is from Southside, and she sees this podcast, and she says, this bitch, Dany, she not even like that, da-da-da-da. She can talk shit about you all day long.
I'm a civilian.
Hold on. I'm not saying that. Y'all from the same hood. She talks shit about you. She sees you out on the street, and she attacks you, right? And now it's either... You're gonna do 25 to life because
you're missing the point.
No, I'm not saying. They're putting the murder of his friend on Troy Ave because of the video of them seeing him retaliating against Tax Stone, who was a troll, who then shot him. That shit don't make no sense.
Nas,
I'm not doing 25 to life for you.
I'm talking about gangster law.
When
he was acting like a gangster.
When?
What's his music about? When was Troy acting like a civilian?
Jeezy act like a gangster. When was he acting like a gangster right now?
When was he acting like a civilian?
Like a gangster, but he's a civilian.
Tell me when Troy act like a civilian. Tell me when he acted like a civilian. He never did.
Can I ask you a question? Catch your question.
Go ahead.
Have you ever heard of Troy Ave in the media? Ever before Tax Stone, in any fucking way, in any violent scene, not a fucking crime.
But you was just saying, just said that he was pushing weight behind the scenes. Just because you're not in the scene on me.
I said behind the scenes before he became a rapper.
But that's what I'm saying.
That's why he could talk about that.
That
doesn't make sense.
That's gangster law.
You know why? Look, as somebody, think about it, Dany. I'm trying to get you to see this because how bizarre this is.
The thing is that you're not seeing
how talks right now about shit he did 15 years ago.
He did.
That nigga is a civilian to you, right? So if somebody shoots up Meek Mill right now, Meek Mill right now,
Meek is not a civilian.
Meek Mill is not going back to jail.
He still adheres to gangster law. Meek Mill still adheres to gangster law. Meek Mill is not going to go to jail and snitch. He's not.
Listen, Dany.
He's
that
not.
nigga's a civilian. He talked shit about Nicki Minaj's husband, right? Nicki Minaj's husband, right? Ewok. Part of Ewok. Rolled up on a nigga in the same fucking store, right? Called him out. Nigga said, I don't want no problems. Because he's a fucking civilian.
He's acting as a civilian now. Because he has to, though.
It's not that he has to. He wants to. He don't want to be on papers no more. That's what I'm saying. Why? Because that person... If that person makes money on talking about a past life, you gonna tell me that they gotta abide by the rules of the past life?
If that's the case, he shouldn't have retaliated if he wanted to be a fucking civilian.
No,
period.
He's a troll. Taxstone is a troll.
Listen,
he was a troll.
Nas, you're not hearing it.
How did he start his career?
You're not listening.
How did he start his career?
I'm not talking about Tax. I'm talking about Troy Ave. If Troy Ave didn't want to fucking be, if he wanted to be a civilian, he should have never picked up that fucking gun.
Oh, what? You're getting shot at and there's a gun at your foot, my nigga. Are you dead serious? And he shot his best friend.
Fuck out of here.
And the only chance of life I have is to shoot you.
If you take that chance.
Survivors.
Exactly. If you take that chance. But that's my thing. If you take a chance. I'm not a gangster
if I'm shooting back at you. If you shot at me and you killed my best friend / security, and it happens to be that my security or whoever gun was next to my foot, you damn straight. I have the right to protect me and bear arms.
You do.
That is a constitutional right.
You do.
That does not make
but
him.
He was not acting at that point. Let me tell you something. He was not trying to be a civilian at that fucking point.
By defending himself? Why you think that nigga not in jail? Because he can prove that.
Yo.
I believe Tax even said it himself. He will talk about it. He was a troll. He made mistakes.
I understand.
How you defend something that the Tax don't even stand on?
Let me tell you, I understand why. But how was Tax going to jail for something that he didn't do?
He did.
That was not Tax.
Yo, listen.
That was not Tax in the video. They only tracing Tax back to the gun.
All right, whose gun was it?
They tracing him back to Tax's gun.
On Dany. If I put a hit on Dany, what is that called? Capital murder. It don't matter. I don't need to shoot. I don't need to shoot. I don't need to be a shooter.
I'm gonna say
look at the niggas that killed Pop.
Towards
the niggas that killed Pop Smoke. The niggas that killed Pop Smoke.
I don't know what happened with Tax.
Those four niggas. That not one of them is the person that put a hit on him. He got a hit put on him.
We don't even know. That hasn't even come out.
All right, you'll see. He got a hit put on him.
I believe he got a hit put on him.
Everybody knows that.
But we don't know who fucking put the hit out on him.
We don't know, but it wasn't the 4 niggas that was sent.
Who knows? 4
niggas in California went and shot at Pop for him beefing with a nigga that's from the fucking East Coast, Dany. That was a hit.
Where did this information come from?
Y'all, when y'all see this, y'all niggas know, Dany. This is what I'm trying to say.
No, this is the thing that's pissing me off. This is the thing that pisses. You cannot piece something together that you know nothing about.
All right, Dany. All right.
You can't.
All right. I don't. Yep, you're right. I don't know anything.
Because at the same time, Tax was saying that Troy was doing shit back. Just because you don't see it don't mean it don't happen.
So Tax wasn't moving in silence. He wanted niggas to know his moves. But so Troy Ave was doing shit behind the scenes that nobody found out about. But it impacted Tax to some degree. That don't even make sense.
What?
Because you were saying that you said that Tax said that Troy was doing shit to him.
Yes. Listen, if you're doing something to me behind my back, right, and I come out, it's just like this whole situation with Nicki. Nicki be throwing like little shots behind people.
Troy did not know who the fuck Tax was until Tax kept trolling his ass. That's how shit goes down.
How you be in somebody's hood and they don't know who you are?
Dany, I don't know niggas who live behind me. I don't give a fuck.
This is my thing. How could Tax know so much about Troy?
They're not even in the same age group.
But you just said that they was in the same
That's
hood.
what you're not. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm about to tell you something. If somebody is a distributor of a product, if somebody is a distributor of a fucking product, we done seen gangster movies all the fucking time. It is a close-knit circle, right? The only people, and you don't, I'm pretty sure you smoked weed before. You don't know who is the distributor for your fucking Budman.
Right.
Because there is levels to this shit. There would be no fucking way unless one of Tax's mans worked for that organization. There'd be no fucking way. There would be no fucking way. If it's so easy for him to find out, it'd be easier for the feds.
First of all, Tax knew Troy Ave cousin. That's how this whole thing came up.
Dany.
So they knew of each other.
Dany.
They know of each other.
Dany.
You can't tell me that they didn't know of each other. They
Dany.
did. That's how this whole shit started, because they knew of each other.
I know bitches by face. I don't know him. I don't know him. Do you know how many times, and me and you both have had this happen to us. There's times that bitches don't like me, and I have never said a word to them. Until they start popping and popping and popping. Now I hear their name more because it hits me. It comes to my wave. I might have seen you. I wouldn't recognize you from a fucking lineup. But that's what I'm saying. Well, only thing where and this is on for Tax and for Troy. It's unfortunate because look all the shit that I'll give you another example. Tekashi, all of that he put a hit on what you call it? Nigga from Chicago, Chief Keef. From a beef from one of his baby mothers. Don't know Chief Keef like that at all.
I don't even know how that came about.
You wanna know why? He trolled Chief Keef. Tekashi trolled niggas. We all watched it. He would troll niggas that he either never fucking met. He would make fun of their haircut. He would troll them.
He trolled them because they said something first.
To the point where it would, not all the fucking time.
Let me tell you, I remember.
What the Chief Keef said about him.
I don't even remember.
Exactly.
Listen, I never looked too
It was
deep.
because, you want to know what? Tekashi started fucking people's baby mothers.
Right.
There's certain people, like you said, that has a code. You don't touch the baby moms. That's why Tekashi started snitching, because what? Shotty was fucking the baby moms, right? Shotty, it's court documented.
Yeah, of course.
He was fucking the baby moms. So he's like, you fucking my baby moms. You organized the kidnapping. I'm snitching. Now my thing is, okay, he started doing shit with Chief Keef. He put $20K on this nigga's head. You ain't see Chief Keef publicly retaliate in that manner, because you would have seen Chief Keef in papers, right? But this is what I'm saying to you. He trolled himself in so many situations that every time that he put a hit on somebody, he trolled somebody into some violent shit happening. That's why that nigga's in jail.
Guess what?
But that's what I'm saying. If Tax never trolled Troy Ave,
but what did Chief
to cause this to happen, that nigga would have been on a podcast platform bigger than Joe Biden's right now.
He probably would have. And but he gotta
be responsible. I'm not gonna argue against somebody who did some shit they know they did.
He accounts for that. But what I'm saying, what my argument the whole time.
Okay, Dany.
My whole argument is that Troy Ave never adhered to the gangster code. He did not. And if you're gonna fucking no.
Are you putting this on him right now, Dany?
I'm not. No.
This shit sounds nuts.
No, you're not listening. Because what I said, I'm not putting it on. I'm not putting on him.
So what you think that he didn't? First of all, the feds caught him before his testimony. He was already due to do time. Tax Stone before a testimony, and legally to this day, there's not one document that ever shows Troy Ave testified on anything.
He had a whole video where he was sitting there acting like a dry snitch.
The only thing that Troy Ave did was Troy Ave put out an album, White something. Forgot what the fuck it was called. White something. I forgot what it is. And he did a song talking about the whole scenario and made a video.
You know where it was? It was on The Breakfast Club. Watch it. He was on The Breakfast Club after he got shot.
Okay, let's see.
And he was doing some kind of interview where he was talking like dry snitching. And then that's why niggas like, damn, this nigga dry snitching right now. The whole shade room was in fucking
Ave
interview. Watch it.
I'm gonna put snitch. Okay, on Tax Stone. Right? Troy Ave hints at testifying at Tax Stone in Too Legit, a song. It says Troy Ave breaks down on IG.
Listen, man, we love to brag on hip-hop.
He's facing 40 years in jail for a murder he did not commit on his best friend. Let me see what this thing says. He said, this is what Troy Ave said. And this is on his Instagram. I got arrested, stayed in jail to keep it real because I believed in the streets. The code that you said he needs to believe in, right? Streets say your friends, homies, supposed to handle business and put in work while you down. Streets say if you all get pulled over, your homie's supposed to take the charge for you because the money earner or provider is supposed to have the business, continue the business. Streets lied. This was a myth. When the pressure was on, I'm the only one who performed. All the homies and friends were where it says we're out for themselves, saying things like, I got kids, I can't go to jail. So he's explaining his personal experience, how he's been the one sticking to street code, saying he's not going to say anything, and everybody else is moving on and moving away from him and fucking up his money. Now, there's not one. Now, let me say, because if I'm not going to leave the podcast saying that he snitched in any way if it's not documented. But he didn't go to court.
My thing is that you can't change the rules when it's not beneficial to you.
He's not. He's explaining to you how street code. He did not say anything about changing the rules.
That's my thing. That's why I've never been a gangster, because I'm not adhering to no street code. My nigga, I'm letting you know now. If y'all fucking do something and I don't know about it and I don't fucking agree with it, my nigga, if I'm going to jail, I'm not going to jail. You know why? Because I'm not like that.
All I'm saying, okay, so
I'm not doing that. We all have choices in life, and we make those choices, and we act. When you make a choice, you have to be able to adhere to the fucking rules that follow after that. The consequences that come after you make a choice, you have to think things through. Think things through. Be accountable for what you do at all times. You can't change it when it's not convenient.
He wasn't the only person who got arrested that night either.
I'm saying you can't change it when it's not convenient for you anymore.
Okay. So they went to jail. They faced off in court last year. He was facing 40 years in jail. I think that he was facing 40 years in jail. He did not testify because footage that they obtained from all angles showed that he was not the person who started the shooting. Mm-hmm. So that is why Taxstone is in jail.
But did Taxstone shoot that gun?
Dany.
Who even says, where is the evidence that the only thing that links Taxstone is the gun? There was nothing that documented that Taxstone to put a hit out, nothing. There was nothing. There was no documentation that Taxstone put a hit out. None.
So the case has also been pushed where Taxstone's court date has been pushed several times. It says here as of March 2020 is his next court date. Mm-hmm. So he's sitting down. Also, why you also want to know why he had to sit down for some time? Where's his money? Where is all his friends? The tax could have bailed him out.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't bond. Where's Charlemagne? Didn't bond. And this is why Troy Ave also made the post. He was saying, when niggas say you take the bid, you do this, and you're supposed to sit up, and I'm going to handle business, I'm going to handle that. He was just showing it works. It happens to both. It happened. This is what I'm saying. I'm not a person that's sitting here and saying I'm for Troy Ave and I'm against Taxstone. I'm calling out a situation where we are, not we, because I'm not saying I'm from the hood, but coming from places like where they come from, which is what, Bed-Stuy or
I think he's from Brownsville,
wherever,
Hill, like that.
In Brooklyn, coming out of neighborhoods like this, you are. It's a dog eat dog world that they're raised in. So yes, at the time, and we're talking about 2016, he was trolling from 2014, 2015, he's been trolling Troy Ave. So I'm not gonna lie, it's funny. Twitter's funny when you control and joke because people react and people comment.
I don't commend the trolling at all.
And once people notice Tax is funny, I'm not, like I said, I was an avid listener to the podcast. I'm not gonna sit here and say I disagree with any of that. All I'm saying is that I have to be a person where I have to acknowledge where someone went wrong, where someone could have saved themselves. I think that it got too far from you creating a reality of, I'm going to call you out on your music and I'm going to keep doing it until you show me papers, right? And next, if you're not going to do that, I have a media platform. I'm going to start moving that over to that. And yes, he started, and the thing is, he went down just as when he started transitioning his content because he did the Meek Mill interview at a time when Meek Mill was going on with his ongoing court case with the judge. He was doing a lot of important interviews in hip hop.
He was.
And unfortunately, because he's a street nigga, I think that he stopped his own money. He stopped his own bag. And because
he was trying.
Think about it.
He really was trying.
I think about it. And I don't know this for fact, but because no one provided him, I think he didn't bond out. The minute Tax got locked up, he never even he didn't come out on bond at all. He didn't, no one bailed him out.
I think he was on probation. Because Tax had just came out of jail maybe like 2 years prior to that. He wasn't out of jail for a very long time. He wasn't. So I think he was still on probation at the time that he got locked up. And that's probably why he did not bond. But who knows? I don't know the 100% details of all of these things.
So the bond was originally set at $500,000. Then he was later, I think that was the second bond. It says he posted a $500,000 bail after pleading not guilty. This was back in 2017. And then the bail eventually got denied. And then he remains locked up.
Right.
He was scheduled to be released on a $500,000 bail. So this was after some time of being locked up, where I guess he was able to get his funds up. But the trouble here is that you go through all of this to prove to who? Your Twitter followers? There's no one you can prove to. I honestly, the problem that I see with people is the transition. A lot of people lose their life in the transition from their old reality to what is new.
That's true. It's true. It's true. As soon as
taking it back to all the other artists that lost their life, transitioning from their old reality to new. There's people who felt like you're a traitor. You left us behind. You're phony. You moved on. You think you're better than us.
Right.
You don't want to help me. This and this and that. And there's people where you look at cases like this. Tax is in jail. Troy can't do the music that he wants to. He can't.
Nobody
the life that he worked
this.
so hard. Nobody benefits. Nobody wins.
It's true.
You know
it's
what
true.
I mean? Nobody wins. When I think about the Pop Smoke situation, and the reason why we talk about when I say it's a hit on him, because so I really didn't want to get into it like this. So there's woos and chews, you know that, right? So Pop was a woo, right? I don't remember what it stands for because the woo and chew is broken down. So there's two gangs, rival gangs in Brooklyn that are being taken down as we speak. They did a whole sweep recently, and that's why they've been targeting him. So the thing with them too, the objective with that gang, and from what I see that was documented, is when you see the other, you shoot first. So they racked up multiple murders. Multiple. It is indictment was handed down. The feds, I forgot how many members. It's almost 50 so far that has been taken down. So they were after him already, right? He also had issues with other individuals in the music industry, and I'm gonna say allegedly, but he's made that very clear. He recently reconciled with Casanova, who was also what? Casanova's a what? A Blood, right? He's a Blood, but he reconciled. Meek Mill reached out to them and they reconciled. And shouts out to Casanova because he's I'm not gonna lie, he seems like a good dude. I don't know him.
Yeah.
So anything I say, I have no problem with Cass. I don't know him. But they reconciled. But he had beef out there already from Brooklyn. He's in a gang that beefs with a direct gang. And so the fact that he touched down in LA, LA is known for gang violence, right? You have many different gang groups, many subsets of the Crips and Bloods. For 4 men who were watching him, who knew, and from the detail that they shared of the surveillance, one came out the front door with the gun. There was no things that were taken from the scene, so we knew that it was not a robbery. It was a setup. There was 3 that went through the back. One tried to go through the window. Right, that's documented. I'm not saying anything that's not out there. That's documented. But they came at a time at 4 a.m. hooded, mask covered. Unless you're telling me these men, and from my understanding, the police media clip that you saw did not come from LAPD. That was an NYPD police announcement because they were notified of his shooting on the East Coast and alerted officials on the West Coast. So meaning that someone was on the phone with someone on the West Coast, on the East Coast, to have been notified that timely for it to be communicated in LA about what happened. He was in Beverly Hills on business. For business. He did a bunch of interviews that rolled out recently. So that is not something, that's why I'm saying we all know that was a hit.
Well, I don't believe that it wasn't a hit. This is all I'm saying is that
So-
I don't know. I don't believe that it wasn't a hit. What I'm saying is I can't speak on something I don't know. The only thing that I heard the police say was that the call for the 911 call came from the East Coast. And the only thing that I could think about, because I felt very bad for his friend, because people are trolling him and they have no idea what happened.
They call each other brothers, and I don't remember why, but they've known each other since kids.
Since
children.
There's pictures and everything. And the thing is that the only thing is that I could think about is maybe the guy who was with him called his mom or something and was like, yo, I don't know what to do, or whatever the case. Like, when you're afraid in a situation like that, like, we have to, and that's something that I want to say, we have to be more sensitive when people are in situations, because you have no idea what happened.
No, I didn't
No,
say,
not you. Not you.
Because I'm about to say, when I say there was a hit, and I believe it's someone from the East Coast, because he talked a lot before he started heading in different directions. He beefed a lot with, not say beef, but he talked a lot about niggas in his hood and just people from New York not wanting him to be that great. And he had issues with people in the music industry who were up and coming. Brooklyn is known for a lot of Brooklyn rappers right now out of many different gang groups. So like I said, he's a part of a huge gang group right now, who is a rival group of True. I don't know. True, I believe, has rappers that went down recently too, if I'm not mistaken, that was in the newspaper.
You know a lot of information about this shit, because I do not need to be involved.
All I'm saying is that you guys know from this show, I love music, but I'm a person, I don't like talking on shit that either one, don't know, or don't know someone who knows more. So all I'm saying is that was definitely a hit, and everybody I know can agree on that from the evidence that was recently found. I know that there's more to come. I will say this, and I know this is just, not everybody believes in this, but there's a medium that I follow that I'm only explaining from my personal experience, to just being a viewer. There's a medium that I follow that does readings on spirits of like a lot of celebrities who have passed in like crazy situations, or even kids who have gone missing. And the only reason why I follow them so closely is because I remember that girl from Clark, Atlanta.
Who's this person?
There's two. There's one, his name is Raymond Guzman, and there's another one, I think her name is Alaya, or something like that.
Okay.
So one of the female medium that I follow, way before the Clark, Atlanta student was found,
They said that
she explained exactly where her body was. She explained exactly what happened and everything like that. And it came out basically almost verbatim 3 weeks later when they found her body.
And even she said something like, oh, it was her friend that did it, or something like that, or
and it was
somebody or something like that,
somebody very close to her. And this other medium that I follow, he just doesn't do just celebrity deaths. He predicted a lot of stuff and talked about a lot of things that people would be going through, and a lot of things that have come out. So I immediately wanted to see if they were going to cover Pop. One thing they definitely said was Pop knew exactly who killed him. And one thing that they said that Pop spirit was saying at the time, because his spirit was going through transition, and they said that it was his grandmother's spirit that met him on the other side that helped him transition, because I think he has a grandmother that passed, which they didn't know, which now I know. But they were saying how basically one regret, because he and this is how you know it was so crazy, because this white person don't really know much about Pop, but Pop always says he's always been a quiet kid. He never talked so much until he started rapping. He was not a speaker and public speaker. He didn't deal with a lot of people. He even liked to say he didn't keep a lot of people around him. That's why he kept his friend Mike, who was his brother, around him all the time. You see Mike on stage with him performing, you see he never had a group of people with him.
Yes.
So one thing that he has said, he was just like, he said he regretted moving Funny the last 2 days. He's like, that's not like him to be on IG. He put out his location. Right? He put out his location. He made mistakes doing that. He was showing off clothing that still had the address location. And he noticed, he's like, even with the money, and he said he knew more recently that he was a target. Even furthermore, why I know it's a hit, his alleged girlfriend, I think now we see one of his girlfriends, I don't know her name. I think her @name is like Yummy Yellow.
Yummy Yellow.
She even mentioned that she would have these conversations and try to protect him so much because she knew that niggas was on his head. You understand? So this is why I'm saying to you, it's not unknown. He's talked about it in many ways.
I don't believe that it wasn't a hit. I just don't, the other logistics, I don't necessarily know.
No, I'm not saying, I didn't say anything that one wasn't documented or two just wasn't known, and three, to be honest, I mean, living in.
I'm not saying what you're saying is wrong.
Oh.
What I'm saying is that I don't know.
I didn't like the other people were trying to pin it on Mike. They didn't even know who the kid was.
Yes, and that was real sad. Like,
somebody
you don't
yesterday
even know.
Posted a surveillance video and tried to say that was Mike in it, but the surveillance video was from a robbery of a Chinese lady. That was not Mike in it. And those individuals, I believe, were caught. Tripping. So they just, and that video with timing was off. But anyways, I really wanted to talk in this episode about just seeing how, one, I think as a community, as a hip hop community, you really just need to be mindful of your moves. Understand that we're in a day and age where you don't need to put everything out on social media. You don't need to be showing your money, your location, and things like that. Because even if you don't feel like somebody's on your body or watching you, people are always watching. There's people who you met one time and might not sign a signature for or autograph, and that had a problem and it was out for you. You just have to be mindful of that. And I know you want to live and be young or whatever, but it's just like, it's so hard. Right. And stop attacking other people in the hip hop community, because it's no longer really a community at this point. And you have to understand, you need to build allies. And I think Blueface actually said something that I kind of agree with, which he had said, that you need to, when you go to certain states, understand you need to have allies in these states. So not that you need to check in with them, but just understand you need to have allies to help look out for you and cover your back in ways that you might not be able to cover it. Right. But that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, so rest in peace to Pop Smoke. Also rest in peace to Kobe and his daughter. We did not mention that.
Well, yeah, because it's not a hip hop community.
It's not, but it's still.
But shouts out to
he kind of like a little rapper. You know, he had like one song or something like that. But but anyway, yes, my heart goes out to was Vanessa.
What, who passed?
His wife.
Oh, Vanessa Bryant.
Yeah, yes.
Vanessa Bryant.
My heart goes out to Vanessa and her children in the Bryant family, because that is such
and all the other individuals who lost their lives and their family, as we send our deepest condolences. I know we're late for this. I know we made a post about it on our podcast page, but we just wanted to say this on air. But again, the whole situation is really, really sad in a lot of these different various stories that we covered. But anyways, guys, check me out on IG at I always fuck this up. I'm about to change my name or some shit. At @always_Nas. And check our IG out at theloudonespodcast.com. Shit, I can't fucking talk. IG is at the loud. Dany got me so heated, guys. No, I'm kidding. At the Loud Ones Podcast.
I'm cool as a cucumber.
I know. Twitter is at Loud Ones Podcast. Shit, guys, I'm sorry I can't talk today. And then Dany, what's yours?
I was about to say mine is at the Loud Ones Podcast. Mine is at Danybonaduce. Excuse me, guys, I had on this lipstick that looks like I got white lips. But yes, follow me at Danybonaduce.
Yes, guys.
Any feedback, and thank you guys again for listening. We are out of here.
Bye, guys.